This is definitely not Castle. Hi and welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben and this is my review for Absentia Season 3, an Amazon original series. I will be doing a ranking at the end, so stay tuned for that. If you want to talk about the series, chat to me in the comments below. I'll be there. I love chatting to you guys there. Let me know what you thought of seasons 1 and 2. But be aware there'll probably be mild spoilers for season 1 and 2. If you haven't seen those, you may want to give this a miss until you've seen it. But nevertheless, this is a review, also ranking for season 3. The third season of Absentia takes place 3 months after the end of the second series, with Emily Byrne, played by Katic, completing her FBI suspension. Following a sequence of deadly events, Emily must race against time to save Nick, but in the process comes to realize there's a larger conspiracy brewing. I have to say thank you to Amazon for screeners again. When I saw that I was able to get screeners for season 3, I thought, yeah, this is going to be great. And then I realized I hadn't seen season 1 and 2. I'd meant to, and I kept putting it off, and to my shame, when I started watching season 1, I was like, what on earth have I been doing? Why did I wait on this series? Because honestly, it's one of the best damn TV series I've seen, especially when it comes to drama and thriller. You will recognize the main protagonist, obviously, from she was Beckett in the many seasons of Castle, but this is such a great character for her to play. You really get to see Katic shine here, because it's a character that is basically an anti-hero, but even that saying seems to do it a disservice. Her character is so nuanced, which I think is possibly one of the reasons why this series works so well. Since season 1, she was kidnapped, and that was basically the whole arc of the consequences of that. And I won't go deeply into that, but you see the consequences of what happens in season 1. In season 2, she's a very broken person. She's trying to make herself a better person. She definitely isn't a great person. She'll be the first one to tell you that. And so her brokenness with her family, with her ex-husband, with her ex-partner, and her son, she's trying to piece that together. And at the end of season 2, we were left with not a massive cliffhanger, because they kind of brought to close a big story about her being kidnapped and who did that, and big reveals were revealed at the end of, I think, the last couple of episodes of season 2, and I thought that was good. What I find astonishing is that the first episode of each season is always such a big, it's like a big event, and then it leads into using that big event and as is into what's going to happen for that series. But each season seems to have I don't know if it's a big event, but just more stakes. There seems to be more going on. When it's personal, you feel for that character. So by the time you hit season 3, you were fully on board this character, because you want her to become a real girl, or just be a somewhat normal human being in the way that she can get her family back. At the same time, her unique ability to distance herself from people often puts her in a place where she can understand the larger picture. She's a fantastic investigator, so she understands the larger picture of like her investigations, of what she's seeing. She can piece things together before a lot of other people. She often is more than willing to go against the trend of what she's been taught, what is right and wrong. She doesn't mind jumping over that line, steering straight past it to get what she needs, the truth that she needs to be told, the truth that she needs to find out. And there's always a reason for that, because she needs to rescue her family. She needs to rescue those ones that she loved. So the stakes are always high. She needs answers for what happened to her in the past. So you have all of that rummaging in this character. And at the same time, she's always butting heads with her friends and family and partners from the FBI. And at the same time, you always have that arc that's going on in the background. So in season 3, we have another 10 episodes. It starts with a massive kind of intro again. You think for a moment it's going to start slow. They're building on those characters. They're showing you how the characters is now kind of having a family. They're trying to create stability for their family. You think to yourself in the background, okay, no more to do with the family, because they've gone through enough, man. Over these past 2 seasons, they've gone through a hell of a lot. And so in the style of 24, they lead you into a false sense of security, and then her ex gets taken, and that is the majority of the main arc as it begins. And then you start seeing how there is more going on in the background, and there's much bigger players. And so that is the main arc. But always the fun for this series is seeing how this character will go off on her own, almost in a detective style, similar to Beckett. but her character is so broken. She's still seeing those flashes of how she was tortured. She's still seeing images of her past, moments that she's been trying to deal with. She's still trying to ground herself in reality, which I think makes for her, makes for the actress, it's a much more tantalizing piece to play. Where she was Beckett in Castle, she was the detective, but the events surrounding her is what was really interesting. She didn't have a really meaty character to play with. This is very different to that. Even the way she looks, she always looks ill. She's always been stabbed or punched or beaten. And that leads me into the action of this. I was so surprised in season 1 and season 2 when we had some really great choreography in like Krav Maga, really hard-hitting action sequences that are very well filmed. I was very surprised to see that, because in a cop show you get an amount of fighting sequences in a cop thriller show. You don't normally get this caliber, which I was very surprised by. And then to top it off, you have a very interesting camera shots. The way they frame a shot, or are brave enough to spin it round and make you the viewer to view it in a more obscured way, because they're being creative with it. It's very edge of your seat stuff. But that's only because you're so invested in the characters already, and I think that's a clever thing to keep using your characters. It's a technique that 24 or many shows like this have used for many years, but it's a technique I think will get a bit long in the tooth. They need to change up who is getting hurt, who is the one always in jeopardy, because if it's always this one family, eventually it'll get to a spot like, I can't take it anymore. How much more can a family go through? And I think I was about halfway through the season. It's like, damn, if we get a season 4, I do hope that the jeopardy will maybe be someone else, because I don't know how much more broken a person can be, and how much can a person go through and recover from all of that. Each season does tend to build on itself. So when I was talking about my ranking of the 3 seasons, I have to say I loved the first season. The second season I thought was even better. And the third season I think might be slightly better than the third. Not because it's better writing. I think all the writing, the acting from everybody all around has been phenomenal. But just because they've had those 2 seasons to build on, it's like a launch pad that you already have all that baggage. So it's so rich already. So when you see those characters, because they have all that backstory, all that character building, it makes you invested that much more. So the story is great again. The jeopardy is definitely there, and you're on the edge of your seat, like for the most part of most of the episodes, and you're willing them to not getting any more dire positions, but you're also willing them to see those characters survive. And it's one of those series that you don't know who's going to survive, because in the first and second season I was surprised to see certain characters taken out. I'll leave you to discover if you haven't seen season 1 or 2. Obviously there's a certain amount of plot protection from some of the characters, because you know they're the main characters, you think, and then some stuff happens. So I thought that was very good. Again, you have this family that are they're continuing to build those character developments and get deeper into the psyche of those characters. It's interesting to see how our lead protagonist here, how she deals with new situations as she's thrust into more dark, like a very dark situation in this series. I don't know if it's the darkest situation ever, but it is definitely one that pulls upon past experiences, where she has to confront her past as well as try and deal with the situation in front of her. And I think the actress herself plays that very well. You see the emotional turmoil on her face. So everything is done very well, from the very interesting camera techniques to the editing to the score, even the intro from the title sequences when they put it up. Always amazes me. I was like, that's so cool. I love the way they're doing that. So I'm sad I'm sad I didn't give this series the time it's due when it first came out. But also I'm not, because now I've managed to immerse myself into this world, and I do hope we get more, because it's fantastic. So I'm giving it an A. It's a solid A series. Let me know in the comments below, who is your favorite character? So my ranking is 1, 2, 3, although I think 2 and 3 are very closely matched. But as I've said, you know why. Let me know, who's your favorite character in the series? How do you rank them? And do you want another season? Thanks so much for watching this review, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long on Tuesday.